Hey there, my friend. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, and I want to welcome you back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. In just a moment, you're about to hear a powerful and inspiring conversation between myself and one of our Fit Father program members, Dr. Brian Kincaid. And I love this story because Dr. Brian and I actually met at our very first Fit Father Sedona retreat last year in September of 2022. And at that time, Brian was getting reinvigorated with his routines and getting refocused on the Fit Father lifestyle because, like many guys, he has an incredibly busy life. He's an optometrist. He has multiple practice locations in Iowa. He has 5 kids, and as you're going to find out, he's also in the Army Reserves. So this is a man who doesn't have a lot of time and needed to find a way to just get things in, get some kind of nutrition plan in, get the workouts in. And one of the reasons I think this conversation is truly powerful is because Brian shows that you can have just like a basic plan. You know, you don't need to eat a whole bunch of fancy foods. You can have shakes, Ezekiel sandwiches. He gets around 3 workouts in per week. He does some fasting. He just sticks to some of these core tenets of the program, and he's seen some great results. And like many guys, it's not like Dr. Brian is a completed package. He still has more to go, but he's come a really far way, and he's finally feeling like he's on track with the kind of man he wants to be. Knowing that he has his youngest kid is 5 and Brian's in his 50s, like he wants to be around when his kid's graduating, his youngest child, that he's going to be there in good health. And now he's following the right path. So this is a conversation I think is great for guys who need a realistic approach, who don't have all the time in the world, who have some potential excuses. But if you listen to Brian, you find some inspiration in how he lives his life, the fact that he's getting it in, serving his patients, serving his family, and serving himself by investing in his health. I think you're going to find a lot of great inspiration. Without further ado, let's get into today's conversation with Dr. Brian Kincaid. All right, Brian, welcome officially to the Fit Father Project podcast, my friend. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So to kick this conversation off, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to all the guys who are listening, your name, your age, and where you're from, and anything you'd like to share about work and family.
Yeah, I'm Brian Kincaid. I'm 51 from Creston, Iowa. Got a family of 5, my wife Megan, and then I've got 5 children, 2 from my first marriage. So they're adults, they're out of the house. So they're 26 and 24. Both in college. One's in podiatry school, one's in chiropractic school. And then I've got 3 little ones at home. Megan and I have got 5, 7, and 9-year-olds that keep us busy here at home. I'm an optometrist. Got a couple different practices, work outside of or inside Walmart. Independent contractor with them, so I don't work for them, but I've got my practice inside Walmart. So that keeps me busy. And then I'm also in the Army Reserve, coming up here on almost 27 years of service between Air Force,
crazy.
Army, different.
Beautiful.
So
and you might have mentioned this. You're based out of Iowa, right?
I am in Iowa. Yep. And for the Army,
you got a lot going on. Well, this is cool. And I think this I'm excited about every podcast I get to do because I get to hear an incredible story about how, a hardworking guy used this program to change his life. This one I'm particularly excited about because you and I got the chance to meet last year at our very first Fit Father Sedona retreat. And I'll remember, I think it was particularly one of the first hikes where you and I got to spend a solid couple hours, it felt like, together, really just getting to talk about life and the program. And at that time, you were just really kind of starting out, dipping your toes in the water, getting things. Like, let's talk a little bit about your experience at the retreat and where you were at kind of starting out, and then we'll get into what you've accomplished since then in the last few months.
Yeah, the retreat kind of got me back on track. I found you probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 2018. I can't remember exactly when I joined Fit Father, but went through it pretty good for about a month and a half, and then just kind of I honestly couldn't tell you what happened, but I kind of slipped off of it and maintained it for a little while, and just over time just kind of got back to the old habits and got back to where I had been before. Mm-hmm. Being busy, it's always just kind of whatever is convenient. So, just a lot of mornings of grabbing a donut at a convenience store, getting an energy coffee drink, and hitting fast food at lunchtime. And then when I get home, grab whatever I could. So my health habits were horrible. Everybody at the office, if I didn't get a chance to stop by the convenience store when I'd go to Walmart, I'd run over to the bakery and grab a couple donuts over there, and they'd see what I eat, and they were like, I can't believe you don't 300, 400 pounds because I never ate well at all.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep well at all. I mean, I would typically go to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 to 2 in the morning, and get up in time to get the kids to school and all that kind of stuff. So sleep habits were bad, health was bad, or not health, but healthy eating was bad. But I continued to follow all the, I get the emails from you guys. So I always I got to get back on this, and I just was looking for a good opportunity to do it. Okay, next month I'm going to start back up. Wasn't ever doing it, and then I got this thing on the retreat, and I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to kind of get back on track. So I went ahead and signed up, not knowing a whole lot about it. And about a month before, I was like, I gotta start doing something because I can't go in there and be the just be the fattest guy there. And so I started doing the program, got back in phase one, started all over again, and I think I dropped about 10 pounds or something before I got there. Maybe not even that much. So I think when I started the program back up, I was about 186. And I've never been that heavy. I think the highest I've ever been is probably 192. And I'm just about 6 foot tall. So, not probably what you would call skinny fat. Had some around the midsection, but never had much muscle on my frame or anything like that. I mean, even growing up, I mean, I was never very thick. So, just wanted to get out there on that program and and kind of get back on track. And so since then, I think this morning I was 170.
Nice.
Been kind of 168, 170, right down around there. I think I'm putting on a little bit of muscle. Still got a ways to go. I mean, I still got a little bit on the midsection, but I was like 165 all through high school. So I'm about back down to there, from 30 years ago.
I got to say, congratulations on the progress so far. And and you did show a picture. And if people are watching or listening to this on video, I will be able to put the picture up so they can see that you just, kind of got back from a family cruise. And if it's, in my opinion, perspective, you've put on a good amount of muscle. You look fantastic. And you've obviously leaned up. So that's got to feel pretty good.
It is. Yeah. My wife notices a difference. I feel better. I mean, I think I still got quite a ways to go. It's just, I haven't been doing it for too long. So, really, what was a retreat back in September, October? I can't even remember what it was now.
It was September, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had over the holidays, with the cruise there that we did just a couple weeks ago. But I'm not too worried. If I have a few days where I don't exactly follow the plan, I know this is a lifelong thing, and I know I've got the tools now. I can get right back on it, so it's not anything that I'm too worried about. I'm not too worried about slipping back to where I did years back when I started the program and kind of lost it for a little while. So it's once you kind of get in the habit and the mindset, so I think I've got a good foundation now.
Nice. I want to ask you specifically, I think it's pretty unique with how busy your schedule is. I mean, you have multiple practices that you're going back and forth between. You have all of your kids, all the other things you do. I think there's a lot of guys who probably feel very similarly and may not even be quite as busy as you. So I want to know, what has worked for you in terms of like your daily routines and rhythms? Like, what do you eat? When do you eat it? What's your flow of your day to be able to, get results, move forward, have something that's working for you, that's not falling prey to the convenience foods and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, we had a talk out there at the retreat, and you gave me, kind of just the Fit Father plan. When you get all of this information thrown at you, and there's tons there. I mean, you can put into it as much as you want, or you try to pick out pieces that kind of work for you. But there's still, it's tailored for everybody. And during the retreat, talking to you, you're like, it's not such a big deal if you can't do every single workout, or you can't follow the plan to a T. And so I, kind of had to learn that it's okay to kind of modify and just do as much as I can. And, get the, if I want to put more muscle on, get more results, lose more weight, I can do that. It's just, you put into it, or you get out of it what you put into it. So, I'm comfortable where I'm at now and what I'm doing, and it's, it's working for me. It may not, have gotten me exactly where I want to be yet, but just continue with it. And so what I do, specifically is I try to do a shake most mornings. If I have time. If I don't, sometimes I just skip. Sometimes I just skip breakfast, or I'll have a Quest bar or something like that. But that's another thing too. Skipping breakfasts, skipping meals even. Um, I was under the assumption that you needed to kind of eat regularly, keep that metabolism going, and you let me know, hey, it's okay if you skip a meal. That's not such a bad thing. I've kind of actually I kind of enjoy the fast. I do my fast on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It takes any thought out of it. I don't have to worry about, okay, what am I going to eat? What am I going to? How am I going to? I can stay in the office. I can get some work done. I actually kind of enjoy the fast days because I don't have to think about how am I going to get a meal in today. And then when you feel that hunger too, that's something that you get that feeling in there, and you kind of know, hey, something's working. Feel like you get some progress there. So, but normally what I do, if I do have breakfast, shake, and then at lunch, if I can come home, so one of my offices is not too far from home, so I can come home and I'll have just like a turkey on some Ezekiel bread. I'll throw like a slice of Swiss cheese on there, some baby spinach, and that's about it. Drink water throughout the day. I'm always a little behind on my water intake. Could get that up more, but if I'm out, I still go to McDonald's. I still go to Burger King. I go to Subway. I go to those places. I try to get chicken, get turkey, cut the fries out. I don't drink any pop or soda. That kind of stuff. It's always water. If I have coffee, I've cut out no sugar. I still sneak a little bit of cream in there, but and then at night it's usually Quest bar. That's usually when I'll have my turkey and Ezekiel on Ezekiel bread sandwich. So I don't have a lot of variety. I love like some of the recipes on there. If I have time, I'll make the turkey chili. You got a lot of good stuff on there. I just don't always have time to put it all together. I don't do meal prep. I know that's a big thing, but I don't do that. So it's I'm not too worried if I grab went to got some pizza buffet the other day. I don't worry too much about it. The scale, it's a couple pounds heavier the next day, but it's okay.
Nice. I think it is refreshing to hear like the different ways that you can get it done. In your case, because you're always on the move and transitioning between different locations, like knowing you have a shake or fasting as an anchor. The Ezekiel bread sandwich can be for both lunch or for dinner. You have your Quest bars, and then you're relaxed about it to the point where you're weighing yourself regularly. You can have something on occasion. You see how it affects the scale, and then you just get back to it. It's about progress over perfection. I'm really hearing that as a resounding theme about how you're approaching things.
Yeah, and I've learned, to read the labels, try to look at the nutrition labels, and try to see what I can get away with, what I can't eat, what I shouldn't be eating. Some of the stuff I was eating before, it's surprising how much sugar's in there, added sugars and things like that. So it's been helpful to know how to read those labels a little bit better.
Nice. Let's talk about the workouts a little bit. I think to talk about challenge too, I know when we were in Sedona, like you were getting into exercise and you also have a history a little bit of, some shoulder pain on occasion. I think a lot of guys can relate. I know I've had many years of shoulder pain on and off. Like what's it been like exercising? What kind of targets do you aim for? How have things been with the lifting, and how's your shoulder doing?
Shoulder's good. I really don't feel it. I don't know if that was, if I tweaked it or something. We kind of worked on it out there a little bit.
Good news. Nice.
Yeah, hooking me up to the juice there, whatever that machine was he zapped me with. But the shoulder hasn't really been bothering me. I don't alter my workouts or do anything different like that. It's
Nice.
I don't think I've got any issue there. I didn't ever go get it checked out or anything. It's just it doesn't bother me anymore. I really don't have any injuries or anything, so I pretty much try to do. I think right now I just started the descent. I did this descent for the first time last night, so I don't know. I think I'm in like phase 3, but second month or something. So, some of the
Yep.
workouts I like better than others, but what I try to do is three workouts a week. If I can get three in, awesome. But sometimes it's only two. So because I try to do one on Monday morning before I go to work. I'm not going until 10. But after I drop the kids off, sometimes I just don't quite have time to get that Monday morning workout in. But like last night, so Thursday is one of my earlier days. I get off work at 4, so I do a workout after work on Thursday, and then I do one on Saturday. I get off at 2, and so I always do a Thursday, Saturday, and then sometimes most times I get that Monday one in. But I just kind of rotate. I don't ever do the hit. I don't ever do any of that. I don't really do anything in between time to do to do any sort of exercise or workout. So I just kind of alternate between the cardio and the strength workout. So
Mm-hmm.
every other one on that, and I enjoy those. And how you'd said, I try to keep them at an hour, but if the ones, especially the ones in the evening, if they go longer, that's fine. I kind of take my
Mm-hmm.
time on them, but no, they've been working well. I feel good after doing those. I wish I had time to do a little bit more, but here again, in this for the long haul, so it's not like right now I'm not training for anything. I'm not trying to get in specific shape for something coming up. So just do what I can, and if I miss something, if I like when I went on the vacation, I didn't worry about diet. I didn't worry about exercise. I didn't hit the gym on the cruise ship. I didn't do any of that. So, I just took the whole time off, and thought when I get back, I was actually a little disappointed. I thought I'd maybe gain 10 pounds, but I only gained 3. And so, I got those, knocked those 3 pounds right back off within like 4 days. So, it was no big deal. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's good. I mean, a couple comments I have. One, it's really good that you have the experience under your belt of going on a trip, being able to quote unquote let loose, and then also being able to peel a little bit of weight back. And then two, I think a lesson that comes from your life and how you're approaching things that a lot of guys should take heed of is it's like psychologically we need to have a target of how many times per week we're aiming for working out. And for you, it's 3. And you often get it, but not always. But that's like a guiding metric that's always probably in the back of your mind every week. And you also have dedicated days when you slot it in. So if you're a busy guy like Brian and you're feeling like you're struggling to find the time, what is your set number of days? When are you getting it in? And using that as a guiding target, I think it makes a ton of sense. And maybe there's a season of your life where there's more workouts if you're training for something particular, but maybe not. But I think 3 seems very reasonable, and you're clearly producing some results. So that's great. Have you noticed any mindset or mental emotional changes as you've gone through, the process of doing the formalized workouts and the nutrition?
Just like in my approach to it, or were you talking about just like
Yeah,
overall?
sure. Yeah. How it feels, feeling of consistency, any changes to energy, mental sharpness, anything you experience in, I guess I would say, your inner world. And if the answer is no, I don't need to
Yeah.
go fishing for anything here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I've noticed any big changes, but yeah. I mean, I definitely feel better about where I'm at and what I'm accomplishing and kind of where the future is. Of course, we're all aging. Our bodies break down. There's things that we don't have control over, and so that was kind of my overall. My youngest son's 5, so when he walks across that stage for high school graduation, I'm going to be a month away from hitting Medicare, and I don't want to. I'm going to be an old dad, but I don't want to be, somebody that needs help. Help getting in and out of the auditorium there, and I just want to be able to do things, with my kids, my older kids too, and my wife and all that, and so that's just something where I feel better now, that I'm going to be able to enjoy things with them and not be a health burden on them, and just be able to enjoy life. And so that's something, just the direction I was going. I don't know, who knows what would have happened, but I just feel more confident that I'm going to have a healthy lifestyle, for longer.
Nice. I mean, in my opinion, that's what it's all about. I'm curious, how often do you think about that? I'd call that a big part of your why, a lot of your foundation, being a dad with young kids and wanting to be in the right direction, and now you feel congruent with that. How often do you think about your, that future? Is it a very frequent thing? Is it something you visit on an occasion? Like, where does that sit in your mental, emotional landscape?
Um, no, I think I don't stress about it. I don't worry about it. It's something that I've got both my parents still. My grandmother just turned 98. Um,
Wow.
I've got, and she's doing well. But so I've got, family that's getting older. And it's something that I don't dwell on. I don't think about. I mean, it probably does cross my mind every day. Just but I don't worry about it. So it's something.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your question was breaking up, so I guess I'm not sure exactly what we've got a bad audio connection, but
Yeah, it's okay. I know the
was that
connection's
your
not the best right now. That was totally my question. I was just curious if it crosses your
yeah.
mind every day and how you kind of approach
Okay.
connecting to that reason. I actually do want to, while I have you here, kind of like shift gears
Oh, okay. Yeah.
from.
Okay. Yeah, I heard you better there. So yeah, so I in my practice, eye doctor, but I do have access to everybody's. They fill out their health history, and so I know kind of what their medicines are, what they're dealing with health wise. I always ask them, their overall health. It's not just about the eye health, and I think that might be kind of what you're gonna kind of transition into. But I see so many patients, and I'm in a Walmart, not to stereotype people or put them in a, but I get patients that come in there that aren't always in the best of health. I'm sure everybody's been into Walmart and seen some of the people that are in there, and I don't want to say anything bad about people, but a lot of people are in bad health. A lot of people come in there and they're not in a good spot, and um, that just makes me think, okay, how did people my age, how did they end up where they are now? Um, when they when you're young, you're healthy, you're on not very many medicines, and then all these people transition and they're just not in very good shape. And so every time I see that, or if I see somebody that does come in that's in an 80-year-old, no medicine, um, they're happy, they're active, their cognitive ability, they're just doing a really good job in life. And so you try to say, okay, you want to be like these people, you don't want to be like those people, and you just have conversations about how what are you doing, what how did you get to that spot, and those are some things that I keep in mind. I'm like, okay, I need, you've got to put some effort into it. You've got to change. You've got to do some things that are not so easy, and put some work into it if you want the results. And so I try to. I think one of the things I wrote when I filled out the questionnaire for this was, everything that you eat or drink is either feeding disease or fighting it, and
Mhm.
so you got to make these decisions every time you're eating something, every time you choose to exercise or don't choose to exercise, whatever you're doing, and it all makes a difference down the road. It might be a very small effect. Um, just like with the eyes, people ask me all the time questions about what's going to happen going forward, and everything is kind of connected. So there's so much stuff that's tied into the eyes, and so much with nutrition and health affects the eyes, and people really a lot of times don't realize that, but everything's connected, and everything you do does have an effect. Um, I don't know. I'm probably starting to ramble, but go ahead. What if you got some other questions? I'm sorry.
No, that was great. I think that's a really powerful perspective of just thinking that our choices are ultimately investments or moving us in one of two directions. And we're kind of like putting little pennies into the piggy bank of health, or we're kind of taking them out. I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask specifically about eye health. I think many of us, one of the main signs of aging, besides skin and hair not looking quite the same or energy levels, is the fact that we notice these eyes don't seem to work as well, first at night
Mm-hmm.
and then later on just in
Mm-hmm.
general. What are some of the core tenets that people can focus on, whether it's nutritional, if there's any eye exercises or practices that we can do to maintain and maybe even, if possible, regenerate a little bit of our vision with age? What do you
Mm-hmm.
counsel people on as some core
Mm-hmm.
advice?
Well, some things are inevitable. I mean, just eyes wear out like everything else in the body. There's not, too much you can do about needing reading glasses, needing bifocals. It's presbyopia. The lens inside the eye is going to age, and it's really very independent of anything else going on. So I pretty much can tell what someone's going to need for a bifocal power based off of their age. It doesn't matter whether they're nearsighted, farsighted, never needing glasses. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if good health, bad health, diabetic. It really doesn't matter. So there's some things that are kind of out of our control. So you can't really do too much to hold on to that ability to see it close. So the far away is going to get you. But in your overall prescription, I mean, there's not really anything out there that's going to make it so you don't need glasses anymore, you don't need contacts, or you don't need LASIK surgery. So those things are kind of out of your control. But the eye health, which the eye has a lot of parts, and if one part of it's not working, you're not going to see very well. And so the retina, the nerve, the macula, those things, the back of the eye have a lot of dependency on your overall health. And so that's where smoking horrible for the it accelerates things like cataracts. It accelerates macular degeneration. So usually what I tell people is if it's good for the body, it's good for the eyes. So exercise does help the eyes. Nutrition, huge on the eyes, and things specifically, not everybody, but macular degeneration is becoming a much bigger concern as the population ages and we learn more about macular degeneration. Macular degeneration is becoming, a pretty big thing. Most people know somebody that has it or they've heard of it. And dark green leafy vegetables, specifically lutein, is a supplement that helps for macular degeneration. But that is something that, if you're eating well, exercising, protecting your eyes from the sun, you're not smoking. Those are things that are going to be healthy for the eyes, but there's all kinds of things that the eyes can be affected by. So I can look in someone's eyes and not diagnose things like diabetes, high blood pressure, chronic drug use, high cholesterol. I mean, there's all kinds of things that will show up in the eyes. Eventually, some of them will show up sooner than others, but yeah, there's a lot of health. A lot of things tied into your overall health that'll show up in the eyes.
Brian, I appreciate you sharing everything that you did about just general eye health and the fact that this healthy lifestyle is ultimately going to be protective as much as possible for the eyes in terms of the exercise, getting the lutein and stuff like that from the good vegetables. Now, I want to close our conversation today with giving you the floor one more time to share any general life advice or wisdom that you feel like has been powerful in your life recently, stuff you share with your kids, or anything you'd kind of like to leave this conversation with.
Eye health, overall health. You were asking me earlier how it's affected my just outlook. Just being able to see improvements. It's a slow process. It's the long haul. It's not what's going on just right now. It's what's looking down in the future, looking at 5 years out, 10 years out, 20 years out, and seeing where you want to be, and just trying to make little changes, and not worrying if you slip up or something's not going quite right. Just trying to keep kind of even on everything, not get too high, too low, yeah, it's just all tied together. I know you're big on the spirituality, mental health, physical health certainly, but I was going to just share it. As I said earlier, been in the Army for almost 27 years, and that's a stressful thing for a lot of people. And I know there's probably a lot of guys listening and women listening that are military background or have family, and we just lost a soldier in our unit here just a couple days ago, committed suicide, and that's a big thing. The suicide rate in the military is much higher than in the civilian population. There's a lot of stresses going on, and even my wife right now, she's worried about things going on with Russia, and she's hearing all this stuff in the news, and it's just it's just something that I would anybody that's got any thoughts of suicide. There's tons of help out there. We got all kinds of help in the military, but even civilian side. I mean, if there's anything going on with anybody, reach out and get help. I've got a background in psychology. That was my undergraduate degree. My wife's in counseling, and there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. Ever since COVID, it's just been a lot of stress, and so it's kind of nice with this program to when you work out, you feel good. When you eat better, you feel good. So that stuff has helped, but you still have your daily lives, and you got to go about it, and just talk to anybody you can. If you're down, don't get too down. If things aren't, you're not seeing the results you want, you just got to keep working at it. There's always people out there that love you and care about you, and you can always find help. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into everything. It's I've appreciated what this program has done for me, and I appreciate what you've done and your team has done. I know anything that I would want to any specific questions, the help is there. You can get as much out of this program as you want. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not part of the Facebook group. I know that's a huge benefit for a lot of people, and I'm sure it's a great program. I just choose not to be on Facebook. There's just your program's awesome. It does a lot for you, and you can get out of it whatever you want to get out of it. If you want to, I know if there was more, I could get more out of it. If I want to just kind of kick back and do, I don't know. That's, I guess, all in on that. I appreciate what you guys have done, and I appreciate what the program's done. Yeah.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and particularly what you shared at the end. I mean, it is a real thing. We do live in a stressful world and stressful times, maybe even particularly stressful right now with a lot of things that are shifting in our world and a lot of uncertainty. And I mean, the truth is, I see it as we're not in this alone. And that's why I think just the fact that you and I are here having an open conversation about your life, your experience, some of my perspectives, like this is the nature of good human connection and being able to be vulnerable and to share, and for us to know that we're in this together and that we can support one another. And on that note, I appreciate everyone tuning in and listening to this show. And Brian, of course, for you coming on and being courageous to do this and work in the program in the context of your busy life. It means a ton. I'm so grateful that I've gotten a chance to meet you in person. Like, that's kind of a rare thing for the brotherhood, and I cherish that. And it makes me very happy knowing that you're on the trajectory to be very healthy for your family into the future. So, Brian, thanks for coming on today and sharing everything you did. I truly appreciate you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.